Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will learn control accounts reconciliation. Student, this is A levels topics. Reconciliation of control accounts can only be learned if you have a prior knowledge of control accounts. Students, if you have watched my previous video of control accounts 1, then you would be able to solve the questions from past papers of A levels. But if you haven't watched this video, please first of all watch this video and then try to solve this question. Otherwise you might face difficulties or won't be able to solve these kind of questions. What is control accounts reconciliation? Students, when closing balance of control account is not equal to the total of list of sales ledger balances, we have to reconcile. Why? Because there are some errors. These errors might be in control accounts or might be in the individual accounts. Now the question has given us some errors. First error is total of sales returns journal has been overcast by 160. Overcast means over added. So sales returns journal total is overstated by 160. Students, in the previous video we discussed that control accounts are prepared from the total of journals. Sales returns journal total, here is sales returns journal and this is total of sales returns journal 250 that has to be recorded here. Now as you already know that control account is prepared from journals, sales returns journal total is posted on the credit side of the sales ledger control account. As question says, this is over added by 160. Now because this total has affected control account, that's why it should be recorded in control account column. Sales returns journal total is recorded on the credit side. If it is over added by 160 on the credit side, it means credit side total has increased by 160. How can be rectified? If we record it on the same amount, if we record an entry with the same amount, its effect will be cancelled out. So and in any entry on the debit side of a control account, if control account is prepared, will be recorded on the debit side. If it is recorded as plus or minus, that will be added. So this 160 will be added. This has already been solved by the Cambridge. Now let us move to the second one. The balance of a sales ledger account had been undercast by 150. Students, sales ledger balances. These are the sales ledger accounts and these are their closing balances: 720, 630, 600 and 0. And this 1950 is the total of all sales ledger balances. Now let us move to the question. The question says a sales ledger account balance has been understated by 150. Total of sales ledger balances is made from the closing balances of single accounts. So if one account is understated by 150, this can be rectified by adding 150 in these balances. Number 3 is an entry in the sales journal for Susan Baker 370. had been posted as a debit entry in the sales ledger account of Sarah Baker. We had to record it in Susan Baker and we recorded it in Sarah Baker. Now let us return to the previous video material. Let us suppose this is the entry in the sales journal 1500 and we have to record it on the debit side of Abdullah's account, but instead we recorded it in Bisma's account. So students, because this is correctly recorded in the sales journal, this is correctly included in the total of the sales journal, and that's why this is correctly recorded in the control account. If any transaction is correctly recorded in the journal, this is correctly recorded in the control account, so this will not be corrected in the control account. Secondly, we had to record a debit entry in one customer's account. Instead we recorded it on the debit side of another customer. So students, one customer's balance will be understated by the same amount and the other customer's balance will be overstated by the same amount. And what will be the effect of this closing total? The closing total will remain same. So that's why this entry will not be recorded neither in control account nor in sales ledger balances. Now let us move to number 4. The bank statement recorded a return of check 420. Return means dishonored. A dishonored check of 420. This transaction had not yet been recorded in the books of accounts. So students, if any transaction is not recorded anywhere in the books of accounts, that means it is not recorded in the journal and it is not recorded in the ledger. If a transaction is missing from the journal, that should be recorded in the control account, and if a transaction is missing from the sales ledger, that is not posted, it is also missing from the individual account. And because dishonored checks are recorded on the debit side of the customer's account, that's why it will be added. So this transaction will be recorded in both control accounts and list of balances. Number 5, an entry in the general journal to write off the balance of account of JA Limited 230 as irrecoverable debt had been posted to the debit side of the customer's account. Now students, in the previous video we discussed this is general journal, irrecoverable debt debit, it is an expense, should be debited, and Rohma, the customer, will be credited. So that means it had to be recorded on the credit side of the customer's account, but we recorded it on the debit side. So this irrecoverable debt, instead of recording on the credit side, was recorded on the debit side. Now students, when we have to correct this error, we have to record it on the credit side with the double amount. So because the error was in customer's account, that will be recorded the sale ledger balances, and 230 plus 230 will be 460, and because it had to be recorded on the credit side, that's why it will be subtracted. Now students get the total of control accounts and list of balances. It will be 15430 for sale ledger control account, and it will be 15430 for the sales ledger balances as well. And at the end, if control accounts closing balance and if sales ledger balance is same, that means all errors have been corrected. Now let us move to the next question. This question was May June 20, variant 2 3, question number 3 C part. And let us move to another question, May June 24, variant 2 3 and question number 2. In this question we are required to prepare both purchase ledger control account and sale ledger control account and their reconciliation with the purchase ledger balances and sale ledger balances. Students, 4 balances are given: purchase ledger control account balances, purchase ledger individual accounts balances, sales ledger control account balance, and individual accounts balances. These are the opening balance which are already posted in the question to be solved. So you can see these totals do not agree with each others, and similarly sale ledger control accounts balance is not equal to the individual account balances, and they have given us 5 errors. First of all, students, we need to know which of these errors relate to sale ledger control accounts and which of these errors relate to purchase ledger control accounts. All the transactions, all the errors, all the transactions that are related to the customers will be recorded in sale ledger control account. Credit note issued means sales returns, this is sale ledger control account. A check received from credit customer, sales ledger control account. Interest charged from overdue customer, sales ledger control account. And similarly, total of purchases journal, purchase ledger control account. An error of original entry, purchase invoice, purchase ledger control account. So students, these error number 2 and 4 are related to B part, and error 1, 3 and 5 are related to C part. Now let us discuss one by one. Error number 2, the purchases journal has been undercast by 3250. As we discussed earlier, any error in the journal will affect control account. So because purchases journal is understated, so that will be added in the control account. 3250 purchase journal was understated. And number 4 is an error of original entry had occurred when a purchase invoice of 4650 had been recorded as 5640. It means a purchase is recorded with 5640 minus 4650. 4650. 5640 minus 4650, and the difference is 990. So we can say that the transaction is recorded with 990 more amount. So because this is an error of original entry, that means it has been recorded everywhere with more amount. So that's why this will appear in control accounts as well as in individual purchase ledger balances. 990 will be subtracted as it was overcasted, and this 990 will also be subtracted from these balances. Now get the totals. Now students, 2850 plus 3250 minus 990 is equal to 30,800, and 31790 minus 990 will also be equal to 30800. Now let us discuss customers account transaction. A credit note issued by Nadia, this is sales returns, had been entirely overlooked. If a transaction is completely omitted, it will appear in control account as well as individual ledger balances. So because this is sales return, this will decrease customers balances, that's why they should be subtracted. So 490 will be subtracted from control accounts as well as from individual ledger balances. Number 3, a check for 380 received from a credit customer dishonored by the bank. This had been incorrectly recorded on the debit side of the cash book but had been posted correctly to the ledger account. If a transaction is posted correctly to the ledger account, it means ledger balances are correct. This should not be recorded in ledger balances. So because this error was made in cash book is a journal. When any transaction is recorded wrongly in the journal, that should affect control accounts. And if any transaction recorded in the wrong side, this will be corrected with the double amount. So 760, because dishonored checks are recorded on the debit side of the control account and credit side of the cash book, and any transaction that is recorded on the debit side of the sale ledger control account is added. So this was sales returns overlooked, and this is dishonored check on wrong side. Number 5, interest of $70 charged on overdue customer account has been credited to the customer accounts. So customer's account error will be recorded in the customer balances. Any interest charged will increase the customer's balances, and it had to be recorded on the debit side, but because it was recorded on the credit side, that's why this transaction will also be recorded with the double amount. So 140 will be added as interest charged, and this was of sales returns. Now get the total of control accounts, and the control account is total is 35790 plus 490 sorry 35790 minus 490 plus 760 is equal to 36060, and in the individual ledger balances, this is 36410 36410 minus 490 plus 140, this is also 360, 60. If control account totals agree with the individual sales ledger balances, that means all errors have been corrected. So students, you need to remember, if any transaction is completely omitted, it will be recorded in control account as well as in ledger balances. If completely omitted, will be recorded in both control account as well as in sales ledger balances. And if a transaction is wrongly if a transaction affects journal balance, journals total, this will be recorded in control accounts only. And if a transaction is wrongly recorded in single account, this will be recorded in ledger balances only. If a transaction is recorded on wrong side, this will be corrected with double amount. Students, hope you have learned the concept of control accounts reconciliation, but if you still feel it difficult, please first of all watch the previous video named control accounts 1 for O levels. Then surely you will be able to solve all AS level control account reconciliation questions. Thank you very much students. Allah Hafiz.